Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking all about the Dyson Airwrap. So this video is going to have a ton of information, so I will have timestamps linked down below. I'll tell you guys basically everything you want to know about it. I also put the option on my Instagram stories for you guys to leave your specific questions, so I'm going to be answering those in today's video. And I'm going to share a tutorial how I do these curls. Also, how I get them to stay, because that is the number one question that I get with this product. Like, how do you get the curls to stay? And I will tell you, the first time I used it, my curls fell within an hour, but I feel like there is a technique that you can use to get them to stay. So I'll have that in the second half of the video. I will show you what it looks like with the big barrel, the small barrel. I showed those backwards. Also, how you use some of the other attachments. So if there's a specific point in this video that you're interested in, like I said, I'll have timestamps, but let's go ahead and hop into everything. If you are new here, I do upload mostly makeup content, and I upload 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. I don't miss an upload day. I would love for you to subscribe, but let's get started. So this product, first of all, disclaimer, I did not buy this. This was sent to me from Dyson, but this video is not sponsored. I am under no obligation to make this video, but I wanted to because I've had so many questions about the tool. So this was sent to me for an Instagram campaign. So I created some videos for Instagram, but no obligation on YouTube. So this costs so much stinking money. This tool is $550. And the biggest question, like the most common question I was getting when I asked on my Instagram was, is it worth it? And I think it depends, so I'm gonna break that down. So this tool comes with a bunch of different attachments, and that's what makes it kind of unique. So you have the main body, and then you have 8, I had to count them, 8 different attachments. So one question I was getting is, can you blow dry like normal? And yes, you can. So this is the blow dryer attachment. It's a little bit different. This is what it looks like, and then it comes out this end. Also, that's how loud it is. I was getting some comments and questions about that. Also, the weight. Weight-wise, I would say it's slightly heavier than a standard blow dryer, but I don't think it's heavy or uncomfortable, and I'm not like sore after doing my hair. It doesn't feel heavy. So the other attachments, you have 4 of these curling barrels. So they're 2 different sizes. This is the larger barrel and this is the smaller barrel, and then you have 2 of each because the air goes one direction. So you have to do one side of your head with one and then switch it for the other side. You also have 2 brush heads. And these are similar, but they're technically different. So what Dyson says is that this one is for coarser hair and this one is for finer hair. And then you have a round brush attachment. So first of all, the one thing I really like about this, it's less damaging to your hair, and that's kind of their big thing. So I was really curious about how it's less damaging. You always hear about, oh, the Dyson technology, but I questioned like what could actually make this less damaging. And one of the key points is that this just doesn't get as hot as an iron. Also, I mean, you're curling your hair with air versus like laying it down onto a hot iron, you know? So there are 3 temperature settings, and the hottest one only goes up to 302 degrees Fahrenheit, which most hot tools are used at significantly higher levels than that. So this, of course, is just gonna be less heat on your hair, which is in turn better for it. Also, they make sure that the heat is really even because they measure that temperature constantly. So it's not like certain parts of your hair are gonna get burnt, and it's not like that temperature is gonna fluctuate. That being said, I do always hear reviews like, oh, this won't damage your hair. Heat is gonna damage your hair regardless, and Dyson, they don't even say like it won't damage your hair. They word it like it's free from extreme heat damage. So that's kind of the key there. It's not as hot. So one of the questions that I got that I thought was a really good one, do I think all the attachments are worth it and different, or do I get a similar effect? And I think this is going to come down to your own hair type and your hair texture. So I'll tell you guys a bit about my own hair. The actual strands are pretty fine, but I do have a lot of hair. I would say my hair is about medium thickness. It's not thin, but it's also not incredibly thick. It looks thick here, but when you see my hair like out of the shower later in the video, it's not that thick. But my hair texture is basically straight. It's not pin straight, but it's basically straight. So for me, these 3 attachments kind of do the same thing. These two especially do the exact same thing. I do not notice a difference between these two. This one, I can get like a little more body with, and I can kind of get the ends rolled under a little bit, but after about an hour, my hair would look the same if I used this or if I used these, just because my hair is naturally straight, and that's kind of just how it lays. However, I would say if you have a different hair texture than I do, your hair is extremely curly, you probably would see a difference between all three of these. You'd probably see a pretty big difference between all of them. And I see a really big difference with the barrels. You guys will see the tutorials later on. The curls I have right now were created with the small barrel, but if you want more of a blowout effect, very, very loose waves, you can get that with this barrel. And what I will say, I think you can do a lot more with this product than it seems, because you can basically create any curls with these. So the best way that I can describe it is if you use these barrels the way they're kind of designed to be used, where the hair picks up and you go roll from the bottom up, you will get a similar effect to what you would get with a curling iron with a clamp. Because when you're using a curling iron, unless you're using a different technique, but normally you clamp it and roll it up. So what happens, there's more curl at the end of the hair. It's not an even curl all the way through, and that's where you get this type of effect. Now, if you prefer curls that look more beachy and you normally use a wand, just pretend this doesn't have a clamp and it's a wand, and you hold it up and wrap it around the wand, that's a very different curl. And you can still achieve that curl with this. So you can put this on, hold it this way, and then wrap the hair around it. So instead of letting the hair pull itself onto here, you can wrap it around it. So you can really think of this just as a typical iron, and you can use it any way. The other super, super common question I was getting is, do the curls last? There's a learning curve. The first time you use this, I wasn't sure about it at first, and my curls fell out almost immediately. Keep in mind, my hair is naturally straight. My hair doesn't even hold curl with a regular iron, so that I do want to make note of. But I've got a lot of tips that I've discovered that allow the curl to stay, and now that I know how to use the product, my hair stays curled longer than it would with any other hot tool. Oh, and if you're wondering, I've been using this for over 2 months now, and that's my thing. When I was watching the tutorials of this product, what I noticed was any video that I watched that's someone doing a first impression on this, they usually don't like it. And then the videos that I watched where people have had it longer, that's when they were like, oh, this is actually a really nice tool. And that's my biggest feedback about this. It has a learning curve. So it's going to take a little bit of trial and error before you figure out the way that it works best with your hair. But now that I have, it's a really cool product. Like, my hair naturally lays so flat on my head, and I feel like this is the most body I can get with my hair. And you guys, I wasn't sitting there like going in at the root trying to get it big. Like, I just used the curling barrels the normal way. Next question, how long does it take? Okay, so when you see the tutorial, what I end up doing is I let my hair mostly air dry before I go in with it. You don't have to do this, of course. You can just do a rough dry with this, but I usually like to just, get out of the shower, go start getting ready, do my makeup, just go on with my day, and then as my hair just becomes naturally dry, then I go in with it. So with this time that I'm going to share with you, it would be a longer time if I was going from completely wet hair and had to blow dry it first. But when I go in with my hair about 90% wet, I can do it in 10 minutes. I've timed it every time I've done it recently. Maximum time, 15 minutes. That's if I'm like going slow, listening to music, having fun, but about 10 minutes. It takes me 5 minutes to do this side, 5 minutes to do this side, which is faster than I can do it with a curling wand too, by the way. One question is, do I feel like I notice a difference in the health of my hair? Now, I've only been using this for 2 months, and I use it usually about once a week, maybe twice a week. So I don't know that I've had this long term enough to give a great answer to this question, but what I will say, when you curl your hair with the normal iron and your hair just kind of has that smell, you know what I mean? I don't get that with this. I think my hair looks much shinier. It feels soft. It doesn't feel crispy. And in the short time frame that I've had it, I haven't noticed it damaging my hair, but I've only been using it 2 months. I also have gotten some questions about like if it doesn't lay as like straight and flat at the root or like up in here. I think I'm not the right person to answer that because my hair is naturally straight. So I don't have to like really get in there, but I would say if you do have a different hair texture than me, you have very curly hair, I would go in with this first and kind of try to smooth out and straighten them a little bit before I went in with the curling attachments. Okay. The big question, the number one question everyone has, is it worth the ridiculously high price tag? And you know what? I think it would be kind of irresponsible for me to just make a blanket statement and say yes, it's worth it for everyone. I don't think it's going to be worth it for everyone, but I think for the right consumer, it would be. So I would ask yourself, first of all, do you think you will use all of the attachments? Because in that sense, it could be. If you think about it like that, this replaces a straightener. This replaces a small barrel curling iron. This replaces a large barrel curling iron. This replaces a blow dryer, and this replaces a blow dry round brush. You know, those tools that are really popular right now. And even if you went to the store and bought like the Revlon one, that's still $70. So if you factor in like $70 here, which would be a cheap one. Some of them are like $200. A curling iron, $100. Another curling iron, $100. A blow dryer, at least $50. So if you think you'd use all of the attachments, you'd get use out of everything, it could be a really nice bang for your buck. But if you're looking at it thinking, I'll probably only ever use this attachment, you could probably get a semi-similar effect with a curling iron. I don't get this volume with the curling iron. My hair looks smoother and bigger and more voluminous with this, but you could maybe get a similar look with a curling iron. Again though, it's a hotter tool. You're going to have a little bit more damage to the hair. Also though, I know so many ladies that regularly go and get a blowout. And if that's you, this would actually probably save you money, because what I've found with this, I have tried so many times in my life to learn how to do a blowout with a blow dryer and a round brush. And it is just so tricky for me to get like this one hand working the right way, hold the tool. It's a lot harder than just having one device and being able to use it like that. So, I mean, if you regularly get blowouts, yeah, this would be worth it to you, but it's going to come down to your lifestyle and how you tend to style your hair for the most part. Oh, and I meant to mention this in the beginning. If you're wondering why mine is copper, this was just a limited edition version of it, but the tool works the exact same as the pink version. So I think I've answered the most common questions I was getting from you guys. Let's hop into the tutorial. Okay, so my hair is probably 90% dry right now, and I've noticed that's kind of my sweet spot with this product. If it's too wet, the ends don't really want to pick up on the air wrap. You technically can use this product on dry hair, but what I usually end up doing, I take a shower, get out, and then let my hair air dry while I do my makeup and just kind of go about my day a bit until it's mostly dry. As you can see though, my hair is pretty much straight. So if you had curlier hair, you probably would want to go in with one of the attachments first and kind of smooth out different sections. And when I got out of the shower, I put in these two products. So a little bit of leave-in conditioner with a heat protectant. This is from Kenra. That's their Luxe Leave-In All-in-One Miracle Spray. And then I like to grab a little bit of a soft hold mousse as well. I feel like it kind of holds the style. So this is from Eva NYC. It's their Main Magic 10-in-1. This is a pretty soft hold though, so if you need more hold, I would probably opt for a different mousse. Okay, my biggest tip for getting the curls to stay, use the smaller barrel. The bigger barrel gives more of a blowout effect. It kind of just has more like bent ends to it, which I love that look, but it doesn't hold as well as with these small barrels. So if you want curls and you want them to last a few days, I would go with the small barrels. So to determine which barrel you want to use, since they both blow air opposite directions, you don't want to look at it this way, you want to look at it in a mirror. So in a mirror, the arrow is going this way, whereas if I look at it head on, the arrow is going this way. But I like to opt for the ones that go away from my face. So on this side, I would use this one, this side, this one. So I usually kind of leave my bangs out when I do this, since I'm gonna use a different attachment on my bangs. My hair actually is probably dried a little bit more than I normally do it, but it should still work just fine. So as far as my settings go, I have fan speed all the way up. I have heat all the way up, and then there are two settings on this. This is the normal setting, and then the cool blast is if you push this button all the way up, and the cool blast will help set the curl into place. So always use that. So what I'm gonna do, hold about 2 inches of the curl out, or of the hair out, turn it on, let it pick up, and then go up the hair. And what I like to do, I go halfway up on its own, and then I twist it the rest of the way. And then I hold this for about 10 seconds on the heat, and then after that I do about a 10-second cool blast. Okay, this might be hard to do with the volume of that, but then it should basically form a cone like this. And I just want to note, like, you saw how long my hair was. It's way down to here, and this is how short the piece is now. This is what it should look like. If you are struggling to get your curls to last, leave it in this shape for as long as possible. Like, don't comb through it, don't reshape it. It should be a cone. So the reason I was saying I twist it up, this size barrel is kind of designed for shorter hair than what I have. So they do sell a longer barrel, but I didn't want to go out and just buy another barrel. It's already a $500 product. I don't think anyone wants to have to go and buy more just for their hair length. So that's a great tip, because let me show you kind of what happens if you don't do that. If you just pull this all the way up, you can kind of see the hair starts to fall off at the bottom of it. And then my curls kind of become a little bit uneven. So I find that everything sits better on the barrel if I twist it up myself. And I think the key is taking small enough sections. Ooh, also I wanted to mention, when I first tried this, my hair was way too wet, and if you try to use it and the hair will not pick up, that's probably because the ends are too wet. And normally that's the part of the hair that has the most moisture in it, because it's kind of going down. So if the ends especially are too wet, they're not going to wrap around this. So if you find that the ends are just like sticking out sideways, try to dry them. All right, so I have finished this side, and I added lipstick because I realized I wasn't wearing any. And actually, I want to show you guys how I do my bangs with this attachment, because I have a video of me doing them with the other attachment. So my bangs are just above my chin, and I'll use this the same way I would use all the other ones, or all the other curls. But I like to keep it like really high at the root like this to give it some volume. And then same thing here, it's gonna look really silly, but I don't brush it out yet because I want it to hold that shape. So I've been letting the curls stay like this. Also, you can see how much they shrink up versus my normal hair length. And now I'm gonna do the other side. So to switch the barrel, this tab on the back unlocks it. And then I'm gonna put in the barrel that goes the other direction. For the most part, I've timed this so many times. It usually takes me about 5 minutes for this side, 5 minutes for this side. At the most total, like 12 to 15 minutes, absolute maximum, usually closer to 10. Okay, this is what my hair looks like when I'm done with it. Just trust me, we'll get there. This is a trust the process moment, but the key is to make sure that the curls are fully set. So you don't want to feel any heat on the hair. This side is going to be pretty much set. So what I do, you can either go through with your fingers or a really wide tooth comb. Don't go through the brush, don't over comb. But what I do, I just kind of start from the bottom and break these up a little bit. And then, I mean, these will fall a tiny bit throughout the day, but if you do a cool blast and you let your hair set in this shape, they will last really, really well. I normally get a solid 2 to 3 days out of this style. Like day 1, it's curlier. Day 2, it still has a lot of volume and some curls at the ends. And then by day 3, it's gonna be kind of more so straight, but flipped under at the ends. And keep in mind, my hair is naturally straight. It does not hold curl, even if I do curls with a hot tool like an iron. So I think that's really, really impressive. Okay, actually, while I let this side cool down, I'm gonna touch up the bangs because this is not, it's a cute look, but it's not really what I was going for, and they're not laying quite right today. So I will actually show you guys with the other attachment. So this is the round brush. And with this one, sometimes I turn the heat down. I don't feel like I need as much heat to do my bangs with this brush, but basically just roll them through and then turn the brush while I roll. And then I'll kind of let it sit in this shape a bit. And then you can even take it and kind of redirect them. Like that. Okay, here we are now that I've combed through both sides. This is it. I usually don't even use any hairspray because it's gonna stay pretty well on its own. So that's how I do it. This lasts me for a few days. Sometimes I might like touch up a piece or two a day later, or I usually touch up the bangs every day. Sometimes I'll just put in like a Velcro roller to get a little bit more volume, but you guys saw in the beginning, I don't have the thickest hair. I don't have thin hair, but it's not super thick, and I feel like when it's styled with this, it has so much more body. Like I can't get my hair this big with a curling iron. And this is kind of without a lot of other products. I didn't put in a texturizing spray. I didn't put in like a thickening spray. I didn't put in like a root lift. That's just the product. Well, not product, tool. So I'm also going to pop a video on the screen of what my curls look like when I use the bigger barrel, because I do use that barrel as well, but the thing is, like I said, they just don't last as long. So with that one, on the first day, it kind of has a little bit of a curl, but by the second day, the hair is gonna be basically straight, but kind of flipped under on the ends, kind of like very 90s inspired hairdo. So I like that as well, but if I want big body and I want curls that are gonna last a few days, I do opt for the smaller barrel. I hope this video was really helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.